Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, as we have our culprit up on the stand. It's now to the point of proving that Mr. Ted Tonate did set off the bomb, as we link him to the murder, it seems, of Detective Arm. But in what way? In what way is what we wonder, as we've already spotted some inconsistencies with what has gone on here. Namely the fact of Pointy Rebel, covered in blood, versus an autopsy report that says that she was hit over the head with something blunt. So it's probably time for us to present that as we start to press Tonate's testimony. I admit I was the first one on the scene after the explosion. Hold it! Were you now? Why were you the first person on the scene? To secure the area. It is regulation for a bomb disposal specialist to enter first. In other words, you had the opportunity to alter the bloody writing then, didn't you? Well... Objection! Mr. Wright, please don't interrupt. Mr. Tonate is about to give testimony that will show just how wrong your reasoning is. Done. I think he was just about to say something interesting too. When I went in and saw the aftermath, well, it was quite the disaster. But there was no bloody writing there at the time. Hold it! You were able to tell this even with those goggles on? With these goggles, there is no way I could have missed something like that. I can see quite well with them. In fact, I can see every hair on your spiky head. Oh, you have a few greys, Mr. Wright. What? Poor Mr. Wright. You're always working so hard, keeping our office together. Wait a minute, I don't have any grey hairs. Just kidding. Objection! I object to the witness's attempt to prematurely give me grey hair. Mr. Tonate, this court frowned upon untoward comments on a person's hair, or lack thereof. Indeed it does. I'm sensing a great sorrow coming from the judge. And from me. My apologies, Your Honor. May I please continue my testimony? Anyway, there was no way Detective Arm could have written it. Why not? If she didn't write it, then who do you propose did? Mr. Justice, of course. Just before dying, he wrote the name of his attacker, Juniper Woods. He didn't die! A final message from your poor subordinate. Poor Mr. Justice, I'm starting to get all misty-eyed. Apollo is not dead, folks. So how can you be so sure it wasn't Detective Arm who wrote the message? It is very simple. Okay, tell me more. She had struck her head on rubble and died near the courtroom entrance. Hold it! Do you imagine she was thrown back by the force of the blast? A bomb can inflict damage not only from the explosion itself, but also substantial secondary damage from the blast wind. Detective Arm unfortunately hit her head on some rubble. It's stated in an autopsy report as well. Cause of death, trauma to back of head. Ah, the autopsy report. I better take another look at that. Yeah, this is the fishy statement, maybe. Now, do you see? Detective Arm could not have written that message. The reason for that being... she was too far away from where the bloody message was found. Well, I think that's the red herring, isn't it, really? Considering situations here, it seems very much like the body has been moved. So this photo is the important part. She struck her head on rubble and died near the courtroom entrance. That's wrong, because that's spiky. That would have left puncture. It would have been really obvious on an autopsy. And it would have caused so much more damage, it was unreal. So let's put Arm's autopsy report to that statement. You're a terrible liar, Mr. Tonate. Take a look at this autopsy, specifically the part about Detective Arm's head injury. Cause of death, trauma to back of head, caused by impact with a flat object. Yes, what about it? Now take a good look at the bloody piece of rubble. It's sharp and pointed. Well, his machine broke. Hey, you're right, boss. It is pointy. Just like your hair. That is odd, isn't it? What could be the meaning of this contradiction? I believe it means the victim did not hit her head on this piece of rubble. The bloodstain you see is just another fabrication. Its purpose is to mislead us into thinking the victim died near the courtroom entrance. Are you claiming the culprit moved the victim's body? That's exactly what I'm claiming. The victim hit her head at some other location, most likely on the floor or some other flat surface. And this location was somewhere near where the bloody writing was found. In that case, she definitely could have written the message. Your Honor, I have the results of the bloodstain analysis. Ah, very good timing. Let's take a look. According to this report, the message was written in Detective Arm's blood. And as the defense claims, only the parts of the message that were added afterwards were written in Mr. Justice's blood. It would appear the defense's assertion is correct after all. The bloody writing analysis added to the court record. Yes, you did it! You're right, boss. Now I have to drive it home. I'll have to take a good look at the bloody writing analysis later. Why are you writing that, you idiot? Mr. Tonate, it is now apparent that you have told several lies to this court. I hope you have some sort of explanation for yourself. Fine, I will confess. You will? But then, why are you so calm? This time, I will tell the truth. Really? It is true that Detective Arm wrote my ID number. She very plainly wrote L10015R. I was shocked, but I did not detonate the bomb. Detective Arm must have mistaken me for the real bomber. Not wanting to be accused, I moved the body and covered the writing. My bad. You moved... My bad! I see. So it is your assertion that you merely moved the body. Is that it? And altered the crime scene. And many illegal things. That is correct. I did not kill Detective Arm. Oh, well. If that's all you did, then... Wait a minute. That in and of itself is a criminal act. Glad to see you finally crossed that finish line, Your Honor. Very well, then. Your cross-examination, please, Mr. Wright. I have a feeling that this is going to be busted really, really fast. In fact, I don't need to press the whole lot, to be honest. I know what I'm looking for already. It is true that Detective Arm wrote my ID number. Oh, is it now? She very plainly wrote L10015R. I was shocked. Let's just present straight to this statement, shall we? Because what are we presenting exactly? We're presenting the number itself, so we need to present a picture of the number, which clearly states that... Do I want to show this one? Or this one? Do I get to pick which one? Because you don't see it saying R on any of them. Which kind of shows something else, doesn't it? Obviously, you saw something different here than what we're seeing in the pictures, sir.
Objection!
I just want to make doubly sure that L10015R is really what you saw written in blood. Yes, it very clearly said L10015R. But that's odd, because that's not what I see.
Objection!
What on earth are you babbling on about now? Wasn't it you who claimed that the bloody writing was his ID number in the first place?
Take a good look at the photo in the bloody writing analysis. Now tell me, does it really say L10015R? Oh!
Eep!
Something is missing, isn't it? And that something is the final R. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Tonate?
Oh, right. Now I remember. There was no R on the end. It was just a slip of the finger. My bad.
Come back, my beautiful contradiction. Mr. Wright, I'm not so sure it was just a simple slip of the finger. You have something for me, Athena? I sense that he is extremely agitated, almost panicked. Well, I can see that too. He does look pretty flustered. Well, Mr. Wright, it appears it was nothing more than a mere mistake. I don't know. Did he really just make a typo? What about that R? Did Mr. Tonate really see it? No, he actually did see it. We gotta rely on that because we know it was there. Maybe Mr. Tonate really did see the R. But there's no R anywhere in the bloody writing. What's going on here? Huh? Now that I take another good look at the photo, I think maybe I need glasses. That's it! What's it now, Mr. Wright? Are you trying to imitate Apollo and his cords of steel? I got it. So that's what happened. A slip of the finger. Is that really all it was? Because I don't think so. I propose that Mr. Tonate really did see the letter R. But the photo clearly shows that there is no R. No, Your Honor. Actually, just the opposite is true. The photo shows that Mr. Tonate actually could have seen the R. If you're going to make that claim, then you better be able to point out what you mean. What part of the photo shows that Mr. Tonate could have seen the R? Well, it's obviously over here. Oh, I need a bit more precision on my controller handling, that's for sure. Take that! Please look here to the right of the 5. Do you see a little bit of red? Huh, I see it. Just on the edge of where the floor is broken up. That's the R that Mr. Tonate saw.
Objection! It's true that the witness wears some very, very odd goggles, but that doesn't mean his eyesight is bad, nor his brain power. What part of that little smudge looks like an R to you?
Objection! And what Mr. Tonate saw wasn't that little smudge. There was a whole and complete R written there. Before the floor was damaged by the explosion. Now we're moving the crime scene time quite a bit. Oh, well, that explains it. Care to explain what you mean? Because you just proposed that everything happened in the exact opposite order. Yep, because that's the way it really went down. The timing when the R was written turns everything about this case around. Now then, if the floor was damaged by the explosion, when was the message written? Before the explosion, of course. Before. With a bloody message running off the edge of the damaged floor like that, we can only conclude that it was written before the explosion.
But that's ridiculous!
If that were true, it overturns your own premise. That's right, it does. In fact, it turns everything upside down. The victim was not killed by the explosion in the courtroom. She was killed before the explosion ever occurred. Order! Order in the court!
What kind of preposterous claim is that? Have you forgotten that the victim's body was found at the scene of the explosion?
Objection! True, but consider this scenario. She was hit on the head and killed before the explosion, or even before the trial began. Her body was subsequently placed in the courtroom ruins after the bombing occurred. That way, it could be made to look like she was a victim of the blast. Plus, considering where the blast originated, wouldn't Herb... And that was a big blast. She wouldn't be so whole and clean like that. Come on, people. Come on, experts. Her clothes aren't even singed.
What?
It sounds like we'd better look into what the victim was doing before the trial. Mr. Payne, did anyone see Detective Arm before the trial?
Let's see. According to the police report... Ah, here it is. One person. One person saw the victim before the trial. And that person was... Tonate. Wait, what?
No one besides Mr. Tonate saw the victim?
That appears to be the case, Your Honor.
I would now ask the court to recall something. Specifically Mr. Tonate's words from yesterday.
It was when Detective Arm and I were transporting the bomb.
Haha! Oh my! Mr. Tonate, just before the trial you were with the victim. The two of you were together at the scene of the crime, courtroom number 4.
Ah!
Your Honor, the defense requests new testimony from Mr. Tonate. We wish to hear what he has to say about his whereabouts just before the trial. Mr. Tonate, your testimony, please.
My testimony, there is no need for...
He's completely unnerved, Mr. Wright. You must have hit the nail on the head.
because opt. All I did was transport the bomb to the free courtroom. I already told you. Power.
Ah! Blast this thing! I was only in the courtroom with the victim because of our work! I swear I was only transporting the bomb there!
Objection!
You and the victim were alone together at the scene of the crime. In other words, you certainly had the opportunity to commit murder. Did you not?
Objection!
Do you always leave yourself so open to attacks, Mr. Wright?
What now, Mr. Payne?
Yes, Mr. Tonate may have had the opportunity to kill Detective Arm, but an important piece of your assertion is missing.
What important piece?
The murder weapon. What do you claim was used to kill the victim?
Mr. Payne has a point. Even if Mr. Tonate had the chance about a weapon, we can't accuse him of the crime.
Well, Mr. Tonate?
Yes, that's right! I didn't have any sort of thing that could be used as a murder weapon on me! I could possibly have killed Detective Arm! Did he really have nothing he could use as a murder weapon? Was it, Athena? Just looking over the victim's autopsy report. I'm hoping there's something in here that can point us in the right direction. Well, it does say that she died from trauma to the back of the head with a flat object. Yeah, and to inflict that specific kind of injury, all you would need is a flat surface, right? A heavy, blunt object with a flat surface could definitely be our murder weapon. Well, Mr. Wright, can you indicate for the court what was used to kill Detective Arm? I believe I can. Believe being the key word here.
You can?
Then please do so now. What did Mr. Tonate have that could have been used as the murder weapon? Well, it had to be something that he had with him and what he could carry in with him. If he was the bomber, that kind of says that it needs to be a heavy object. Now, the heaviest object we have of bomb type or bomber type is the transport case, but I really don't think you're picking that up and clunking someone over the head with them in any elegant fashion or whatever's with it. So that pretty much leaves one more device. Now, the missing remote switch could be that device, for example, but it's not heavy, is it? It's blunt, but more likely you'd hit someone with a corner of that thing, considering how big it is. So when you're really looking at things, the bomb. It is blunt, it is heavy, and it has visible damage. It doesn't have blood on it, sure, but also it's pictured during the time of the, well, I know how to put it, but the date is probably a very important thing. So if anything, it's got to be the bomb itself. He clunked him with a bomb one.
Take that!
We wondered what the damage was after all. Mr. Tonate, you say you didn't have anything that could be used as a weapon. But, in fact, you had the perfect thing. A dual-purpose weapon. What? What the devil are you talking about? You had this. That's the bomb. I thought you were trying to prove that the victim wasn't killed by the bomb blast. That is what I'm trying to prove. The bomb blast, no. But I believe Candice was killed with this bomb. Because this is the blunt object that delivered the fatal blow to her head. Technically, it's a murder weapon that destroys itself afterwards. Please recall the description of Detective Arm's head wound. Trauma to back of head caused by impact with a flat object. We assume this injury was sustained when her head hit the floor. But a blow from any flat side of this bomb would produce the exact same wound pattern. Ah! 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 What's with him? Then show me some proof. Where's the evidence that I hit the victim with the bomb? Ah, he's right. I don't have anything decisive. Did you find any of the victim's blood on the bomb? That would be decisive proof. But too bad! The bomb is blown to bits. It's long gone. Boom! Game over. Yeah! Mr. Wright, Is there really nothing on the bomb in the photo? The cracked LCD? Ah, I don't see any blood or anything. Wait, the timer display is a little broken here. Maybe it broke when it made contact with Detective Arm's head. That's definitely a distinct possibility. But unless we find a fragment with the victim's blood on it, it's not going to count. Ah, I guess you're right. By setting off the bomb, Tonate managed to obliterate all traces of the murder weapon. What in the world do I do now? At times like this, I've got to change gears and look at things in a different way. Instead of looking for the things he wasn't able to hide, I should be looking for a way to expose the things he did hide. Tonate murdered Detective Arm before the trial started. Then he placed the body in the courtroom after the bomb went off, which means there was something he needed to keep hidden until then. And I think I have just the thing. Time to present the photo that shows exactly what Mr. Tonate had to hide. Right, so technically then, it's Arm. Do I present her profile? I say it's her. So let's go with profiles here. Oh, well, let me switch to profiles. Hello. How do I switch now? Okay, so it's not a profile then. So do I present this as in her? If I can't present a profile, then I guess that's the next best thing.
Take that!
Your Honor, it's something we've all been overlooking. If the murder took place before the trial, then Mr. Tonate would have had to hide the body somewhere during the trial. Hey, you're right. And if we can figure out where that hiding place was... Exactly. We might be able to find some evidence we can pin him down with. So where can Mr. Tonate have hidden the body during the trial? Well, that's really obvious. A massive, gigantic case. Which is why she wrote it down. Because technically, if she was always bleeding out, but she was still alive, as you say the death period was a bit wide, then I guess you'd have a massive pool of blood in the bottom of that thing.
Take that!
Wait, a box big enough for a body, a box that was in the courtroom the whole time, a box nobody would touch if they thought there was a bomb in it. Mr. Tonate.
What is it? Do you finally have some decisive evidence to show me?
No, you're the one who's going to show it to me.
Come again.
You heard me. Now, show me what's inside that bomb transport case.
What?
Why? No! There's no need! I've got him now. Just before the trial, you killed the victim with a blunt object, and then you placed the body in the ruins of the courtroom after the bomb went off. Clearly, you were trying to make it look like she died in the explosion. But where was the body hidden during the trial? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. The answer is right here. Inside a box made of thick alloy plating that can withstand any impact. No, that's, completely false. If it's false, you should have no objections to showing us your transport case. So, let's open it up and take a look inside, shall we? Who? Him.
Let's not. Not if you value your life, what?
What's he up to now?
Remain calm and listen carefully. This bomb will detonate in 5 minutes.
What? Huh?
I repeat, this HH3000 will detonate in 5 minutes.
What's going on?
Your Honor, I recommend you adjourn this trial before this bomb goes off.
Mr. Tonate, are you threatening me?
I am the only one who can disable this bomb. If you do not want to die, your only option is to listen to me. But Mr. Tonate, do you say that's just a training model? A fake to practice on? I did, but I also lied. This is the real deal. This is the HH3000.
But the HH3000 was used to blow up courtroom number 4, wasn't it?
How do you know it was the real HH3000 that blew up courtroom number 4?
Huh?
The bomb that blew up the courtroom was a different one. One that I made.
What? Then are we to take that as a confession on your part?
Take it any way you would like. Just before the trial, I took the HH3000 out of the stuffed animal and put my own bomb into it. That was the bomb that exploded and destroyed courtroom number 4. Mr. Tonate, please be reasonable. Do you really expect us to believe a crazy story like that? The HH3000, it is so unique. I had never seen anything like it. It is so unique that I could not replicate the detonation mechanism. So, I just had to have it. Besides, did anyone look inside the stuffed animal during the trial? Did anyone check to see if it really was the HH3000 in there?
I must confess, no one opened the stuffed animal to check.
So there really is a possibility the bomb was switched out? No, not a possibility. A certainty. I did it.
So he's had a real bomb with him this whole time?
You had better get out of here while you can. You do not have much time.
Order! Order in the court! I'm out of here! It's gonna blow! Run!
You 4 are still here. Well, aren't you brave?
It just wouldn't do for the judge presiding over this court to run. About that horrible explosion the other day. The judge looks like he's about to book it for the nearest exit any second. And Mr. Payne.
That is... Ah!
And off he goes. And he's off.
Mr. Wright, what do we do?
It'd be pretty pathetic to run now, wouldn't it?
But the bomb might really go off. Only 3 more minutes, folks.
Is that bomb really the HH3000? No, it's not! Thank you for telling me the timer. What should I do? We'll stand our ground. I can't run now.
Well, it's been fun, but I will be going now. With my dear HH3000, naturally. Oh, and by the way, I would advise against having me followed. Even with no remote switch, this bomb can still be triggered manually. If I think I'm being followed, I will detonate it on the spot. Farewell.
Hold it!
You're not going anywhere, Ted Tonate.
Oh.
Your Honor, there's no reason to be afraid. That bomb is a fake. Are you sure, Mr. Wright?
More of your famous bluffing. Even at the risk of your own life.
Mr. Wright, none of your bluffing now. Not at a time like this. Lives are on the line here. Specifically mine. I'm not bluffing, and I have proof. You do? Yes, of course, Your Honor. It's right here in the photo of the bomb, clear as day. Proof that Mr. Tonate's bomb is not the real HH3000. Also, it was brought up just recently. Really? Out with it then! Immediately! Like a reminder. Where's the proof that Mr. Tonate is holding is not the real HH3000? It's right here!
Take that!
The display for the timer on the bomb in the photo is broken. Most likely it broke when Mr. Tonate used the bomb to attack Detective Arm. The display on the bomb in front of us is not broken. Oh, you're right. Therefore, this is not the real HH3000. Mr. Tonate was clearly lying when he said he switched out the bomb in the stuffed animal. The real HH3000 blew up in courtroom number 4. This bomb is nothing more than a fake, a model used for training purposes. Blah! Fear not, Your Honor. I will examine the inside of the bomb transport case myself. Yes, please do that, Mr. Wright. No! Stop! What is that? Is that a blood stain? Just as I expected. Your lies have all been blown to bits, Mr. Tonate. I'm confident DNA analysis on this bloodstain will confirm this Detective Arm's blood. And those results will conclusively prove that you murdered Detective Arm. not using the robot thing, but still. How about it, Mr. Tonate? Think you can dismantle this decisive evidence? Dismantle it? You're too late. You missed your chance to run, so now you're out of time. This HA3000 is about to explode. Don't try to threaten us, Mr. Tonate. I've already proved that your bomb is a fake. It's real! This bomb is the real thing, I tell you! It's real. Mad bomber? Party of one. There's no time left. It's gonna blow! I have to disarm it. I have to take it apart. I can dismantle anything. I can take apart evidence. I can take apart bombs. I can dismantle it all. Dismantle! 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 I'm not gonna make it! Only one thing left to do! Stop! Break your own jaw? Sure. Made it! Whoa! Okay then. Ha! And you didn't dismantle it, you noob! Game over. Dismantle attempt failed. It's all over. My life has been blown to pieces. It's all that stupid woman's fault. I was selling the bombs I disarmed on the black market. When I tried to take this one, she just had to notice, didn't she? She confronted me in courtroom number 4 that day. That's why I had no choice. Before I knew what I was doing, I hit her. It's all her fault. While I was looking for a place to hide her body, she left a message in her own blood. The trial was about to start, so I didn't have time to clean it up, and now all this. I thought for sure I could disguise her death with an explosion. Then that stupid defense attorney started sticking his nose into my business. After my testimony yesterday, I went to courtroom number 4 and I found that kid all up in my bomb transport case. That's when I snuck up behind him and BAM! And when the idiot police arrested that little girl, I thought for sure I could pin it all on her. Why? Oh, why? Tonate, you are hereby under arrest. On suspicion of the courtroom bombing and the assault on Mr. Justice. Your innocence or guilt will be determined at a later trial. Now then, I see that members of the public have returned to the gallery. One person, however, seems to still be running far, far away. Be that as it may, I will now announce Miss Juniper Wood's verdict. We brought her back in. You still stayed around in the courtroom? Well, that's fine by us, I guess. No bomb present. No prosecutor looking happy. And a judge looking as normal and stern as ever. The court is adjourned. And so, it's case celebration time. The scene is set. As more cases loom before us. You did it, boss! Yeah, I guess we managed to pull it off somehow. So many mysteries cleared up all at once. It was amazing. It just sort of worked out that way, didn't it? That's not the kind of thing that usually just works out. You made it happen. And the way that means old prosecutor hightailed it out of here. That was great. Mr. Wright, Athena, thank you for everything you did for me. I'm so happy for you, Junie. Now you can go back home to the forest in peace. I hope the both of you will come and visit me there sometime. That would be nice. Thank you for the invitation.
I don't know, Mr. Wright. I'm not so sure you could make it all the way up to Junie's house. How high up do you live again, Junie? Around 3,000 feet, I think. What? That's no forest, that's a mountain! But you know, boss, there's something that still bothers me about the case. One little mystery we never got around to solving. Oh, that? Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Is this the unsolved mystery you're thinking of? Well, it has to be something that was completely unused and irrelevant to the case, which would end up being this, the missing remote switch. Does that mean, like, who set off the actual bomb itself is missing?
Take that!
The remote switch, right? Yeah. I wonder where it disappeared to. Maybe Mr. Tonate just got rid of it somewhere. Yeah. It is a pretty big thing to leave unsolved, though. Well, let's leave it up to the police to find. For now, we should be celebrating our not guilty verdict. I guess you're right. Hey, I know. Junie, should we go report the good news? You know, to that certain someone. Okay. Huh? Her grandmother? No, silly, to Apollo. Oh, right. Well, why don't we all go to the hospital together to see him? Great idea. I bet he's bored out of his mind. Okay. Maybe we left him some Still Samurai tapes, I don't know. And so the courtroom bombing case came to a close. But the next trial was just over the horizon. There's never a dull moment with so many lawyers in the office, that's for sure. Apollo Justice, Athena Cykes, and me, Phoenix Wright. Between the three of us, there's no case we can't solve. When our powers combine, we're an unstoppable team. At least, that's what I believed. Only what you believed? What happened then? What's gonna take place? But all of that changed with what Apollo said to us that day. It was something that would put my faith in us to the ultimate test. What? So the Wright Anything Agency. What happened there?
Sorry, but I'll be taking a leave of absence.
Wait, what do you mean by a leave?
Can you at least give me a reason why?
I can only say that this is something I must settle on my own.
Oh, why, Apollo? Why are you shutting us out?
What happened to you, Apollo? Ever since you put that jacket on, you've changed. And now, for whatever reason, all my mind keeps doing is returning to the day I first met you. We had tackled our first case together, he and I, this past spring. And as we did, I came to know who he is and how he thinks. It was a very peculiar case, one in which the victim was killed by a mythical creature. Oh? And so, Turnabout Countdown comes to an end. A new episode has been added! So we move on to the monstrous turnabout next time. So join me then for more Phoenix Wright, Dual Destinies. A new case, a new mystery unfolds. Bye-bye.